Let us see the morphology of the oceans one by one. The first one is the continental shelf. Continental shelf is the first morphological unit of the oceans located adjacent to the coastline. It is an extension of the land beneath the ocean surface. The width of the shelf zone ranges from 60 to more than 1500 kilometers. The water depth of this region may go up to 150 meters. At the end of it, the shelf break comes with a marked increase in the slope. In some places, continental shelf is almost not existing. Around Africa, continental shelf is very narrow. There is a very wide continental shelf in the northwest coast of the Europe. The Pacific coast of North America has a narrow continental shelf. The Atlantic has a very wide continental shelf. At present, continental shelf comprises 6% of the earth's total surface area. 70% of the continental shelves are covered with thick deposits of silt, sand, mud and sediments derived from the land. The UN Convention on the Continental Shelf of 1958 granted the right of mineral exploration up to a depth of 200 meters in owning countries' coastal waters. It also authorizes the use of drilling rigs and other activities within the limits. In 1982, the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea came into effective force. Through this, the continental shelf has a legal limit of up to 200 nautical miles from the coastline. You may be aware that 1 international nautical mile is equal to 1.8520 kilometers. This right also gives exclusive rights to all natural resources within that area. Such shores are known as territorial waters. The continental shelf is built up with sediments washed down to the sea by the rivers of the continents. Continental shelves are the extended perimeter of each continent and associated coastal plains. They are treated as physiographic provinces of the oceans. Continental shelves are considered to be the continental margins. There are two types of continental margins, as active continental margins and passive continental margins. Active continental margins are narrow, relatively steep shelves subjected to frequent earthquakes. Due to these tectonic disturbances, the sediments are moved down towards the slopes and the deep oceans. Passive continental margins are very wide and shallow shelves. They are often made of thick sedimentary deposits derived from the erosional actions of the neighboring continents. The shelf area is subdivided into three divisions as inner continental shelf, mid continental shelf and outer continental shelf. Continental shelves are covered by terrigenous sediments which are derived from the erosion of continental masses. Much of them were deposited during the last ice age. They are called as relict sediments. This has happened when the sea level was 100 to 120 meters lower than the present day sea levels. Marine sediments became increasingly fine with distance from the coast. Sand is limited to the shallow regions. Silt and clays are deposited in quieter and deep waters far offshore. Continental shelf sediments accumulation happens at the rate of 30 centimeters per 1000 years. This rate is faster than the deep sea rate of sedimentation. Continental shelves are very narrow when there are high mountains very close to the coast. They are very wide on the coast, which have a vast and plain land area adjacent to it. Continental shelves will also be very wide in front of the river mouths with exceptions. Continental shelves are very significant morphological units of the oceans because they provide ideal habitats for marine life. Continental shelves are ideal environments for coral reefs to grow. Shelves are also easily subjected to marine erosion and deposition. The origin of continental shelf varies from one place to the other. It may be formed due to marine erosion, subsidence of the coastal belt, faulting and then submergence. the boundary of the continental shelf on the ocean side is determined by an abrupt change in the slope and a rapid increase in the depth. This portion is called as continental shelf break.